Hi and welcome to yet another video. Now this one is on the Commodore 64 using a 64 Doctor by Trilogic. Now this particular device plugs into the back of the Commodore 64. It fits into the cartridge port, it fits into the user port, and it also fits into the serial port. There's no cables going in between, but what it will do is test different things later on, and I'm assuming that what they do is give it some kind of a loop back so it knows at least power's passing through it. I'm assuming that's what it does. So obviously this is the keyboard test, or the test keyboard as it puts on the screen there. While I'm typing away the keys, I'll explain that why I purchased this. Now I bought my Commodore 64 second hand with the retail box. And because I'd spent a fair bit of cash on it, it seemed worthwhile spending roughly £25 on this device, this 64 Doctor, to make sure that the keyboard worked and the other parts of the Commodore 64. I have no idea what's what inside. I know what a SID chip is, but I wouldn't know the ins and outs of the different chips when I first started using them. I do know a little bit more about them now, but when I first got a Commodore 64 I had no clue. And as we can see, all my keys work perfectly. So I now press the restore key, and this takes us onto the joystick test, or test joystick. I don't know why it keeps saying, I feel that I should say it the other way around, but either way, test joysticks then hit restore, it says. So I haven't got a joystick in port 1 right now, but I do know that it works. And as you can see though, what it would do is colour it the same way as it did there. So up, down, left, right, and the fire button. It doesn't test for joysticks that have a second fire button, but I believe that's because second fire buttons that came out on the Commodore 64 were a lot later than 1988. I think they came out with the Commodore 64 GS, I believe. I may be wrong, but I believe that's when they came out. So we press restore and we go on to the most important part, is where it basically tests the guts of the Commodore 64. So it's testing for different colours, it's testing for the SID chip so that it's making sounds the way that it should do. This Commodore 64, from what I understand, it can have lots of things going wrong with it as these beasts get older and older, which is fully understandable that they do. So it's worthwhile having something that tests the ins and outs of the Commodore 64. Now, the 64 Doctor does come with a paper manual, basically a couple of sheets of A4 paper folded over. But it does also tell you what, if you do have any faults, what quite likely a fix is. And it seems for an awful lot of them is that it's just a replacement of the chip. Now, the chips themselves inside, a lot of them are soldered directly to the board. Some of them are in, what are they called, chip holders. So either you need to know how to use a soldering machine or a desoldering machine, or at least know someone who does, or be lucky and it's just a matter of plucking a chip out and putting it back into its little holder. Now, as you can see with this though, my machine seems to be working perfectly well. Going by the telephone number that's on there though, I don't think they're any longer in business. So if you want to fix your Commodore 64, you're going to have to look it up on the internet really, but there's lots of guides explaining what's what. But at least with this, it'll get you going in the right direction on if you do happen to have a fault. Fingers crossed you don't, but who knows. And that's basically it. So let's finish this one off here today. Hopefully you liked it. If you do, press the like, please share it, and tell your friends and family. See you in the next one.